Ladies and gentlemen, today you and I will embark on a quest of greatness, a quest of glory, a quest of pain and agony, and to be fair, mainly the latter of all that is listed. The question is simple. Can you swing across the map in Halo Infinite without touching the ground? Now you might ask yourself, why on God's green earth would you even attempt something like this? And like many things on this channel, the answer is simple. Because maybe, just maybe, it can be done. And if there's anyone on this godforsaken ring-shaped shithole who could do it, it is Spider Chief. Our journey begins here and it ends when we reach the far side of here, 1,645 meters away. We can only use our grappling hook. There will be no checkpoints. Now, if you'd be so kind to craft yourself a nice grappling hook, aim it directly at your neighbor's PC and just grapple right through that living room window and into the like button of this video. That would be awesome. Let us begin. The sun is rising on the first day of our journey. The gods seemingly bless us with fantastic Halo soundtrack, and let me tell you, it felt good. Alright, 1,600 meters away. The music kicks in. My god, it could not be more perfect, chat. The journey of the ages begins. One swing at a time. One tree, one rock, we will make it! Even if it's the last thing I do on this goddamn planet. Chat, are you ready? Here we go. Huh. Off to a fantastic start, but to be expected. As we've learned with these challenges, it's all about overcoming obstacles and learning as we go along. And that leads us to lesson number 1. After doing some research, I have come to the conclusion that the grappling range of the hook is roughly 30 meters. Fantastic. Quick side note, don't be overwhelmed by this deep dive into Halo swinging. As we go along, we'll go over each point to ensure that you yourself can become Spider Chief. This means in a perfect world, if objects are exactly 30 meters apart and I get an optimal swing, I get this challenge done in 54.8 swings. However, we quickly learned that the godforsaken onion ring we call Halo is far from perfect. There are a series of 3 biomes that keep repeating themselves over and over, each with their own hurdles. The first challenge we need to overcome, the crevasse of natural gas. Oh, it all starts with a beautiful leap of faith and hopefully you manage to grab on the ledge and then you are good to Spider Chief your way to an epic victory royale. Using the canyons of Halo is a great strat for this challenge. They give you lots of surface area to work with and you have minimum chance of landing. But there is a massive problem with the canyon. It never leads you in the right direction. So we quickly learned we needed something else to move into the right direction. And well, it wasn't rocket science. Trees. Glorious shrubbery protruding from the brown outer layer of the ring. Trees are dotted around all over the place and they give you a more direct path towards the objective. But there's also a problem with trees. The girth of the shaft of a tree is minuscule. And while there is a lot of them around, you need to be super precise to hit the shafts to propel yourself from tree to tree. And this can be quite dangerous. You need godlike aim, or you will splat off the ground, and it will be all over. Ooh, fuck! Content. Oh, fuck! Oh my god! Ah! I hit the ground. Fuck! I didn't land. Oh no. Oh my god. Things weren't coming along greatly, but at least we had something to work with. The plan was to start with crevasse, head into trees, then head into cave crevasse, and with each and every try we got a little bit further. It took about 1 hour to get comfortable with the variety of techniques and cheeky obstacles. What about a long stretch with single trees with the leap into the next canyon? Yes, you have to hit 3 trees in a row to gain enough momentum and then let go, fly into the 3rd crevasse, hook onto the rock and swing underneath these overhangs. If you hit the rocks above you too hard, you ricochet sideways and hit the other side of the canyon, it's all over. If you don't get enough momentum, you hit the ground and it's all over. But let me tell you, all of this was the least of our concerns, because this ring was preparing us for an enormous shitstorm later. A lot of time was spending optimizing the first half of the run. We nailed the crevasse, we grabbed the trees, went into the cave, and it was near enough perfection. But then, the third hurdle. The base. The base requires a series of 4 perfectly executed grapples. You hit the lamp, you swing to the broken part, you hit the ledge and do a 90-degree turn, and lastly, you have to hit the roof to get the upwards momentum to get to the next section. Every single part of this section is super dangerous and it has to be executed perfectly. The great thing about this base is though, the base offers an enormous morale boost. It's exactly on the halfway point, and if you get here, let me tell you, it feels good. And after many attempts, roughly 4 hours of training, I am proud to announce that I still suck at this. But I managed to pretty consistently get past the base section each time. But what comes after the base is by far the most horrible section of this challenge. Trees. Endless plains of trees. After the upswing of the base, you have to grapple onto 3 trees. The first one is tiny, second is medium, and the last one is huge. These 3 trees have been the downfall of many attempts. They come in right after the base section, where you have to be super precise with your 4 grapples. And then you have to do it again for these trees before getting to the higher trees, which give you some breathing room. Now let me explain a few things about tree grappling. There's a couple of things you can do. 1, the continuous swing. If you feel lucky and all the trees align nicely, you can build momentum and swing from tree to tree rather quickly. It's a good way to cover a lot of ground quickly, but it's also very dangerous. Another technique you can use is the full stop. This is a technique you can use to buy yourself a little bit of time and get into a safe spot. You hit the tree dead center, bounce upward a little bit, and your reticle is always dead center on the tree. And after the bounce, you can do it again, so you can spend a few moments catching your breath while you grapple onto the same tree. Lastly, the 180 slingshot. Often used after a full stop, you basically use the same tree, flying past it far enough to get more momentum, hit the tree, and then boom! Using these techniques, we were stuck here for another 2 hours on this section. But after roughly 800 meters of nothing but trees come 3 consecutive sections before climbing the base. You have a west to east crevasse, which is a nice little break section after all the trees. You get a small forest and 1 final hill before making the ascent to the tower. And ladies and gentlemen, after about 6 hours of doing nothing but spider chiefing, we got it! It's so precise, this. Right, this is a deal. We got it! Or so I thought. Ladies and gentlemen, before finalizing this attempt, I brought the final product before the committee. The run was perfect, except for 1 minor discretion. You see, after the base and making the ascent into the trees, I seem to have had a small nudge on the way down. What was this nudge? Did I hit the ground? Upon investigation what exactly had happened, we came to the following conclusion. I missed the tree. Before hitting a rock that was below me, I got my grappling hook off. I hit the rock, and then the sideways swoop broke my fall enough for me not having to hit the ground, and I shot back up. Or option 2, all the things that listed above, but I did hit the ground. I put it to a vote to the Senate of Swing, and a decision was made. The winning attempt was a bust. And that was all she wrote. That was the closest we got to a victory royale. Defeated, I went to bed. It was all over. And now here I am, writing this script for a video. And if you are a long-time viewer of this channel, you know we don't do well with else. Even when everything else seems to fail, we do not give up. But this one might have been a bit too much. And you know what? Fuck it. One final attempt before I hang my head and take the L. And so I leaped into the first canyon. I hooked to the side, swung from rock to tree to crevasse, but something felt different. It was like the gods above had seen my endeavors and granted me this newfound power. And maybe, just maybe, hours of streaming and quite literally one attempt with a fresh mind, I did it. All I had to do was focus on the task in hand, and just like that, a victory royale. And a bittersweet one at that. After all this time, I had my chat with me to celebrate, and here I am today, alone, looking over this canyon and the immense road I traveled. But today, I transcended and became Spider Chief. And let me tell you one final thing before I close this book. I never want to see a grappling hook ever again in my life.